Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's markets recap. It's Chris here with Elliott Wave Cafe. Welcome to this YouTube channel, and let's take a look at the markets at what happened this week. We'll basically go to our technical page pretty quickly, and then we'll move on to Elliott Wave and show where we are in the Nasdaq Composite, S&P, Dow Jones, the Russell. Take a look a little bit at Bitcoin and see what's been happening there. Definitely, it was a pretty interesting week with some, pretty heavy corrections across the board, especially in the technology sector, especially in the Nasdaq. It was the one that was kind of hit the worst. But we did have, on a positive note, we did have quite a good recovery here on Friday. I was talking on the latest video I've done, I think for the members on Thursday, that it is important on the weekly time frames to look at the RSI and see if it's dipping or closing, let's say, below the 50 line, and that really hasn't happened. And there was a line kind of in the sand when looking at kind of past historical like similar instances where the RSI kind of came into that level. So yes, we did have a decent bounce. We don't know if this is, the end of it or if we're going to get some more, but we do have signs that we're going to look for on a daily basis to see if that's approaching in any way the end of this correction. And then, we can start accumulating a bit more on the long side. I've been kind of cutting exposure with the sell-offs and trying to stay a bit light. But I always look for opportunities, of course. So, looking here at the NYSE, you can see, this market, it's really not that bad, right? I mean, look at the volume in here on Friday. Look at how nice it's creating a little bit of a bullish flag right here off the 10-week moving average. It's almost like a nice cup and handle, that could suggest in here further breakouts happening into this. Also, we've had pretty good, let's say, breadth indicators that weren't really deteriorating as much as the market would have you believe. We also, have quite a heavy bear sentiment in here. We all know, if you follow this or, you're on Twitter, I'm sure some of these charts appeared where, you have the AAI investor sentiment in here, which is horrible. Like, look at the levels that we're in, and we're right at the top, which is very, very interesting and kind of not a very common occurrence. So, I don't know how to make of this, but, I would be surprised if this is how we top a market. And then, then you look at the extreme fear also in the CNN Fear and Greed Index, very common in here, for between traders to look at this, but it's, and this one, it's sitting at about 20 right now. And again, that just shows, a lot of fear out there that, I don't know if it's really founded or not. I couldn't, I can't put my finger on this. I don't think this is how we top. That's just my personal view for what it's worth. So, looking back at the charts, I'm pretty positive in kind of what's happening here in the NYSE. I'm looking also at the S&P, which, recovered about half this week's losses, quite impressive, here on an approach to its 200-day moving average, right? The 40-week, which is right down there. So, you do have, and I talked about this last week. I think on Monday I've done a video, where we had a little bit of a failed breakout, right? So when you have that, the market made a new all-time high in the S&P, but then reversed and then it came lower. But now, we don't have, let's say, a strong close on the weekly to have a continuation of that failed breakout. So that's, also I think quite a positive sign. We'll see. Taking a look at the Nasdaq Composite, yes, this was the heaviest hit, and it did reach its 40-week moving average. It bounced from there. Now it's important that we're going to see, in terms of trying to break this 20K level, which I think we will take it. It doesn't seem like, a proper top in here. Like, yes, it's a strong level, and they try numerous times to kind of get through it. But I think it will be successful on its attempt, and, possibly will break it, go higher, and then we're probably going to have some kind of a, let's say, stronger top down the road. But I don't think it's happening yet. For what it's worth, that's kind of my view in here. Right at the RSI at the 50, we've got a good bounce, and we've been on a on a nice uptrend with the RSI. I mean, if you ignore this little bit of a blip here, which was right as we were testing that 40-week moving average. I mean, we've been in this uptrend with the RSI above 50 right since February, March of 2024, and we really haven't violated that level. So it's important that we hold for this bull market or uptrend to continue here, and for the RSI to move higher. So that's Nasdaq Composite. Then take a look at the Dow Jones, which again, look at the RSI, nicely above 50. That's bullish territory. That's uptrend. Looks decent. It's a, if you look at the NYSE and look at the Dow, says there is a bit more equality between stocks there, I would say, and a little bit more balance. Also, this looks like you have a nice neckline here. You came back, and what I would like to see is another bullish week, and then eventually a breakout that takes us much higher like that. From this kind of setback that we've had, the small correction in the Dow Jones. Taking a look at the IWM, this one it's been hit heavier. We're below that 40 week, so that's a negative, and this index it's still in trouble until we manage at least to get back above this 230, and I will take a look at the wave counts too. I still think there is a chance that this is some kind of a wave too, that's taking place from this highs at about 245. But yeah, definitely, and the RSI is breaking 50 in here, so it's important that we're bouncing back and staying above that to continue this very, very choppy uptrend. All right, let's see what else I've got here. I've got Bitcoin just on a technical page, right? So we're bouncing off the 40-week moving average. So beautiful reaction, RSI right at 50. So you notice how all the markets are testing those very important levels. Across the board, you're pulling back into the 50 RSI. It's extremely important. I talked to the guys on Substack that follow my videos every day. It's that the moment we lose this level, it's quite possible that we're going to go all the way up here towards 72, 74. We've gone as low as I think it's 77 or something. So I don't know if we're fully out of the woods yet, but I do need a lot more signal from this to just say that we have a low in Bitcoin. I don't think this is enough just yet, but it's encouraging to see that we have a bounce. So we'll take a look at the wave counts and see what they're telling us. Let me let my cat out of the room because she's whining here. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So let's take a look now at the wave counts, and I'm not going to keep this too long. So let me go up here. We'll start with the Nasdaq Composite. My view and kind of my count, my direction, it's still upwards in this kind of beautiful uptrending channel, I think. That's what I'm saying. I think this is not a top. We're probably going to go up and then, find some kind of a top in this wave one intermediate red. And then we'll probably get a more heavier correction once that happens. And, then we'll start. After that will be done, then we will start, again, another leg up higher in the market. So that's kind of my simple roadmap. And now let's take a look at the daily here. And, this is, it's a bit trickier, but, and I talked about this in previous videos, possible fourth wave there with another push up in 5, a very small move. You could have already a fourth wave in progress, right? If you were to kind of get rid of all of this and place this top up here, you might be already in some kind of a flat. Because even here, I mean, you can have a wave 5 right into that high, and you can already be in this. So if you want to, approach a little bit from more of like, hey, this could be a low in the market. Well, that means that it's got to be either like a second wave or a fourth wave, and a fourth wave fits a little bit better. We'll see, but that's one way to kind of look at it. So you would have a 3, and then down in 5 for a flat, and then you straight go up. But again, I'll take it one day at a time. I'm not ready to say, okay, this is what it is. We need to, if I go back to kind of the technical page in here, and I look quickly at the NASDAQ, we can look at the NDX too. You see this, so we were up about 1.6%, but you're just at, this is the 150 day, but you got to get back above those averages. So you need several days of buying to start gaining confidence. So this is good, but not good enough yet. Okay, so I'm not going to say, okay, that's, you just put my flag in the center and say, yeah, that's the low. But again, from a Elliott wave count perspective, I think this makes sense. And if he wants to, move sideways a bit more, as part of a fourth wave, that's also very possible. What I am kind of not convinced, but I have a high level of confidence in this, is that I don't think that's the top, and either the fourth wave is done now or a bit later, but I think these highs will get taken out and we will move one more time upwards here above 20k into maybe 2022, 23 before we have a more significant correction. So that's just kind of my take on this composite here. S&P, it's kind of on a similar path, right? If you go kind of longer term here, you can see kind of where we are, what I'm thinking, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then some kind of a fourth wave probably happening now or about to happen, and then one more push higher, then a wave 2, and then you go again. So that's kind of how I'm approaching this. People might not agree, and that's totally fine. That's what makes a market. And kind of a similar story here. And I think it's harder to place a wave 3 up there and then just look at this as a flat in a 4. I think that's kind of a bit forced. I don't fully dislike it, but I don't know, I just don't think that that's the, it could be maybe like some kind of, it could even be like some kind of a running triangle where wave B of a triangle goes up, makes a new high, and then you still chop around and you do something like that, in here, and then you go up, in that kind of wave 5. So that's kind of my take on this. And I'll continue to kind of follow along this, daily and look at the signs, right? If we start to lose, these lows and start to dip below the 200-day moving average, we got a different situation on our hands, and then there is a big chance that this wave 1 top, it's already in place. And you got to take it from there, and we're not going to expect another push, but rather that's done, place it here as a top, and then look for more of a second wave type pullback before we go again. So that's the idea here, and we're at the at the big decision point in the market, kind of at the current moment. All right, so I'm gonna save this up, and then we'll go over and take a look at Dow Jones. Kind of the same thing. Nobody really looks at Dow Jones or really likes to talk about it, but I do follow it, and I think it's kind of in a similar structure here. We'll see. It looks, this one in NYSE looks like the ones that could be making new all-time highs fairly soon, or the closest ones to them, and we'll see. But even if you place this wave 2 here, you can have 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess that would be that. And then what this does is allows for a shorter fourth wave. If you put this here, you would expect a more drawn fourth wave. So it's that's kind of how I see it there. Okay, and then taking a look at the Russell, I really haven't changed this much. I know we were looking at the possible low right there into the 61.8. We're still at that level. This wave 2, until you're really, moving below these levels, it's still, fairly within limits. And this could be a nice, let's say, A, a flat in B, and then down in C, and you can go. But truthfully, get me first above 23.26. before I can, start to scream, hey, let's go. It's time to kind of get going on this. So right now it's pretty damaged. We'll let it recover. Okay, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin too. But IBIT, it's a little bit of difference between IBIT and Bitcoin with the placement of this wave one. I think in Bitcoin you probably have to place it instead of this B wave, but overall it doesn't look like a bad pullback, right? As ugly as it could feel out there in terms of like how much Bitcoin sold off from the top, but this is just just a normal kind of a development here. I don't see anything wrong with this. A nice correction, impulse, another nice correction, and yeah, you could do some measurements and kind of see where you are on C versus A and whatnot, fibs and all that. But right now you just kind of pull back about 38.2% of this entire rally. And you can even come down all the way to 50%, even 61.80, you'll still be fine. I don't think we're going to get that low, but we're not out of the woods yet, because you got to get, and we'll talk about this here on Bitcoin, but you got to get back above that level at least to start to think further upside. So plenty of time here, and I would be patient with this market. So okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin here on Motive Wave, and yeah, we've talked even on Monday and for previous weeks what I was looking for, and what levels would have to break for me to start to consider that we're probably in a second wave. And I think we've done that. We've basically, lost this level, and we started to sell off quite aggressively. If I go back and I look back at those daily charts in Bitcoin, this is kind of what triggered me to get really defensive on Bitcoin the moment this happened right here. Right, that move there was the signal that the market failed to rally. And I was talking to the members too, like usually what it does after a huge period of consolidation, the market creates some kind of a fake out first, draws everybody into one direction before it collapses. And it kind of gave you here, usually it doesn't happen, but it gave you 2 days to get out of that market, right? Like those 2 little days right there were the ones that were below the moving averages. The market was just kind of waiting to crash, and that was a time to kind of really reduce and get out, because you really didn't get confirmation that you can move higher. So this formation here was the one that was the failed move, and you gotta that's why I like looking at candles and reading price behavior every day, because these are the types of little clues that the market gives us to take action. So again, no point in staying bullish once that broke. I know you came into some kind of a support, but that's not guaranteed that it's going to hold, and it actually didn't, right? You crashed back into the 150-day moving average, broke below that, and it was sold all the way into the 77,500. Now, nice tail of those levels, but still not enough. I mean, you're still, in a downtrend. You're below a bunch of these averages. And we got to respect that the market has to recover, and one day again doesn't make a return to an uptrend, right? We got to wait here, and so again, going back to the count, I'm looking at this as a possible second wave, but what guarantee you have that it's done? There's none. It's just a label on a chart, is just a number. You clearly, crashed before any kind of structured decline in terms of a channel. So this could be a very simple ABC, and you could be done. But I always like to look at those B wave highs and just say, well, we need to get above that one, right? And I'm willing to let go of about $10,000 in Bitcoin rallying, just to have proof that it's turning and it's moving, right? I'm not going to try to catch anything here and just say, yes, if you're a long-term investor, this might be, a good entry point, although that's not guaranteed. But I mean, it's better than obviously 100. But that also, let's say 50,000 could be better than 85, right? So you don't know, where the low is going to be. However, we can look a little bit at some timeline and, time fibs and all. but none of that really matters, but the price action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to to show me, and we can put some kind of a channel in here. You can even make it wider like that. I don't mind. But clearly you got to get back above this trend line. You got to get back above this supply zone that's right here, right? Because people that kind of froze up and didn't sell, right, when the market gets back there, they're probably going to be tempted to get out at break even or what have you, and say, oh, thank goodness, we're retesting this level, and then you can go back down again. So you got to get back above that level. So yes, I don't think it's any kind of a fourth wave anymore. This is a second wave, either from there or from here. Both of them are fine. I mean, this one, let's say if you do a flat, it doesn't look like it's complete. You would have to have a 5-wave move. I don't want to get into a lot of details now in time, but you could do a fourth wave here, then another drop, right, to have some kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because you do need 5 waves in a wave C, and that you would get, let's say, a flat move here in an A, up in B, and then down in C, and then go, right? So think about that. That's why there's no rush here to do anything right now. Just observe it and study it and just look every day at the price action. And I would not, be very active in crypto overall or in Bitcoin right now, right? It could be a low, but that doesn't matter. Like that's not how I approach it, right? It needs to prove itself to me. But what I am fairly confident it is that it is likely a second wave, and that's kind of how I'm approaching it now. Sure, you might hear people say, well, what if this is a larger wave? So this is actually wave 1. So let me just play with this for a second. I'm sorry for dragging this along, but I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit. So you can basically remove all of these from here, right, and just say, well, what if this is that, and you have, and I got to take this and just say move it up. Sorry about that. I'm just doing this live. I hope it's not too annoying to hear all these clicks, but so that would be kind of the next version of, let's say, of this approach, of this count. The one that I showed you previously, it's a bit more aggressive because you're looking for a continuation of the uptrend, and you're giving it the benefit of the doubt that is moving higher, and you're saying, well, it could be an extended fifth wave of a larger wave 3, rather than this being a wave 1, where now you're looking into a bear market for a wave 2, that could take you, let's say, all the way down here towards 60K or something. And this is just the beginning, and you're going to do this and that, and then something like that, and then you go. So, longer term, I think we're fine. It's just a matter of, okay, which wave are we in? Are we done with big wave 1 top? And the only way you will know that is once this market deteriorates further, right? And it tries to rally up, and then it fails, and then it gets thrown out. Then you got to throw out the other option that, and I'm gonna. This is nice and elegant. I can just go back. You can throw out this option basically. Right, that this is a wave 2, but rather a wave 2 at a larger degree of trend, with the wave red 1 top here. What this basically allows is for this, it doesn't give a lot of room to this correction to unfold, right? And then the more you fail moving up and coming back down and breaking below these lows and breaking below this trend line, then well, Bitcoin is in a correction, some kind of a larger second wave. So I hope this clears it up. And you guys can always come and check us out here at Elliott Cafe. I mean, I do videos every day, and they're long. Sometimes they're like 15, 20 minutes. I offer free previews for 4, 5, 6 minutes on them. But I talk about Bitcoin and all the markets, every day, how I look here on the daily drip. Every evening, we study and we go through the price section and through the stocks that I buy, and get in, get out. We also have a chat where we can talk about wave counts and all. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will see everybody next week. Bye bye.